Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's your girl, the beauty influencer. And it is time for tea and wild thoughts. That is 30 minutes of dialogue, a little conversation. If you've been here before, you know how we do. You may be watching this on YouTube at a later date and time. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it may be, you are absolutely welcome. And you're always welcome to join the live conversation here on Instagram. I almost said YouTube. A little tired, but what's new? I am drinking a little bit of this cleansing tea that is cumin, coriander, and fennel this morning. So I'm going to do a little housekeeping. Check out the self-care store. I'm going to take these supplements really quickly too. There's actually a YouTube video that I just did on the supplements that I actually use to manage my PCOS. Good morning, my love. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm going to take these real quick. And you can check that out on the YouTube channel. More videos. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, show your girl some love. You can also sign up for my mailing list for my blog. That is thebeautyinfluencer.org. And you can also come and see me at Essential Aesthetics and Laser in Charlotte, where I do organic facials, gua sha, the whole nine. I also have my product line, the self-care store. This right here is part of my energy clearing kit. There's Himalayan pink salt that's there in the bottom. And once you take everything out of it, you can just put water in until this point, 3/4 full. And this becomes what we call a saltwater cure. And it takes all the negative energy out of your space. Okay? So, I hope you're doing well this morning. It's an interesting little something that's been on my mind. I was watching a documentary on Netflix, which I highly recommend everybody check out. It is called The Social Dilemma. And it confirmed a lot and definitely got me thinking about a lot. As you all know, that I'm such an advocate for free thinking. And, I'm not gonna lie, this documentary low-key scared me to death. But it definitely inspired me to keep doing exactly what I'm doing with Tea and Wild Thoughts, just creating engagement and as much human interaction as we possibly can. Just last week in the conversation in the beginning, if anybody remembers, I mentioned I don't know who needs to hear this, but this is just social media. We have to constantly remind ourselves of that. And again, so this documentary just kind of made me realize that this machine is just so much bigger than me just saying that. And it's not some big plot in the world, for the demise and the end of the world or anything. But we have this technology, and it is really, good morning, it is really becoming something that we have to bring our humanity to it to make sure that we don't basically fuck ourselves up. Because I guess in a way we don't understand our own power. There's a machine, AI, artificial intelligence, that is created from, man's brain to basically think for us. That's what it does. That's what social does. That's what, when we're Googling and doing all those things. And that's exactly, what this documentary is talking about. It's literally the developers and the people who created this technology sitting here. And if anybody's seen it, definitely give me some feedback on that. But the creators of this technology are literally saying, like, I can't even believe that I created something that would, start doing such destructive things as well. And we're starting to really see the world get to this place where, it's starting to just turn on itself based on its own reflection. An example would be, a lot of the things that we're seeing with police killings, the protests, people coming out, shooting the police, the fake news, and just so much ugliness, so much of the ugliness that's in the world, which is another reason why I'm such an advocate for really searching for, finding the beauty, because the ugly stuff is there. I would never say that it's not. It's not all roses out here. But we're really starting to see that part of the world being more reflected. And the more that we watch, whatever we choose to watch online, that machine is giving it right back to us. That machine is giving you more of what you say you want, or what you think. And it starts to think for you, ahead of you. So, I remember a while back, and I wish I was writing these documentaries down a long time ago that I was watching, but it talked about the next war, and I may have mentioned this before too. The next war was going to be against artificial intelligence. It wasn't going to be, like a world war. It was going to be like straight up our robot out here. And that may have been 7 years ago that I watched that. And it was, again, seeing this documentary, I was just kind of like, wow, this is really starting to happen. And it's happening faster than we would like. So again, I do highly recommend that you check out the documentary. It's called The Social Dilemma on Netflix. So anyway, the point of this conversation is to remind you, that you are consistently in control of your own thinking. Good morning, my love. That this is real freaking life, and, you are literally creating it and curating it day by day. If you've had personal conversations with me, which, I speak this way all the time, and I enjoy in-person conversations. That's why I do this every Tuesday. Good morning. I'm always an advocate for, really curating your timeline for the things that you want to see, not only now, but, in the future. You definitely have, things that are entertaining and, the gossip blogs, whatever. But to, anything that is giving you sensations in your body. Hey, Junior. I'm smiling at him too. Hey, Chow. Yeah, my friend, her cute, adorable son. See, Junior, you got me all throwed off. It has that effect on me. But anyway, I'm such an advocate for curating your timeline for exactly what you want to see. And if there are sensations, anything that's giving you sensations in your body, I don't even care if it's like people that people you've been friends with for a million years, whatever, like, cut that shit off. Literally don't, because it's starting to literally rewire our brain. There's literally chemicals, that give us the pleasure and stimulate us in certain ways. And so, just make sure that what you are seeing in your timeline and the things that you are watching are just giving you those sensations that you want to have. And I'll circle back to that too in the end, because it can't just all be about pleasure. But again, this is just, it's real life, and in terms of social, again, just like you're starting to see a lot more people say, and I've been saying this for a long time, you don't have to watch Black people being murdered in the streets. Yes, we know it's happening. Yes, we can advocate for it. Yes, we can do things, to be about change as much as possible. but that stuff is affecting our mental health. you know, we don't have to join lynch mobs, against things that we don't like and we don't want to hear. Because again, at the end of the day, this is real life. Like, the world is not here for our pleasure. The world is not here to just give us everything that we do want to hear and that we do want to see. But when it comes to this app, that we're watching right now, that when it comes to the technology, you have the ability to curate and create your social circle the way that you would like to. And so does everybody else. So we just have to learn to kind of like start respecting that again. And just remember again that this is not real life. Like, you coming to see me at the spa and us sitting down and having, a real conversation is going to be real, super real. I remember when I used to, and I still do volunteer for, oh my gosh, my mind today. What is the name of the freaking sidewalktalk.org. And, it's about, what we would do is basically pop up on the street and just tell people that we were doing free listening. It is a project, about human connection, because again, this technology is getting to the point where we're losing the ability to really relate in person. And it was so interesting, how we were just standing on the street like, hey, if you have anything on your mind, we're here to listen. We didn't really give feedback. That wasn't the goal of the project. It was literally to just sit down and hear people out, and what they're going through. And, people were really steering away from it. I mean, I guess it's a little weird, to just have somebody pop up and say, hey, you want me to listen to you? But at the same time, is it? It used to be that we would, strike up conversations with strangers all the time, at least in the South. I mean, that's what we do. I don't know in the North in New York and everything if it's so common, but again, just we have this technology that is just, kind of consuming us in a way. And I'm just right now, like, advocating, reminding us, like, encouraging us to continue to have more in-person human interaction, more and more every day. It's also interesting the amount of people who think that they know what's going on with me or that we know what's going on with each other just through social media. And we forget, to make that call or to, like, actually get on a person's schedule, like meet up. And again, we are in the times of coronavirus. That didn't help at all. But it's still possible, It's still possible. I have to remind myself all the time that this is a tool for my business, and for my entertainment at the same time. But my real life is constantly in place, and as much as people, when I tell them about my dad and like, yeah, that I'm a caregiver for my dad, and they're like, oh, that's it's so big of you, that's my dad. Like, this is real life. Like, it reminds me all the time that there are real things going on, and there's a whole different type of person out here, just having a different experience, than I am. And I welcome that, I welcome that a lot. I think too often we are curating to the point where if anybody's saying anything, just opposite of what we think, that, you know, we just steer away from it. And so that's what I mean by real life is still happening. You know, the reality is there are still a bunch of people out there who don't agree with you and who do things in a completely different way and who, you know, live a completely different lifestyle, come from different cultural backgrounds. That's why, again, I encourage the conversations. I encourage dialogue all the time. It's so interesting when I started just saying, like, listen to Black women. That's not something that I was seeing a lot, you know, in my timeline. Maybe the algorithms, you know, started giving me more of what I want to see. People are starting to send me information of, you know, Black men actually starting to embrace this. You know, other people starting to embrace that we need to be heard, you know. Good morning, my love. Yeah, that we need to be heard, and that's all of us, you know, all Black women. The hoes, the moms, the smart ones, the fat ones, the skinny ones, the cute ones, you know, the natural ones. Like, we have just been oppressed for far too long, and our voices have not been elevated. So, you know, again, hopefully the whole world, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Social media is the tool, you know, it's here for our benefit, but it can also lead to a lot of destruction. So, just remember, you know, that all these comparisons that we make, you know, the anger that we carry, the beauty standards that we try to reach, it's a machine. You know, like when we get on this time, when we get on our social media and we get on these apps, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it may be, just remember that you as an individual, you know, are responsible for programming this. And so when there are things that, and I mean, you know, because it is a little bit of a contradiction. I understand that, to say that, you know, at the same time you want to follow people who, you know, disagree with you. And I don't mean are negative, you know, and just make you disrespect you. You know, I'm not saying to, although, you know, again, these opinions exist. So from time to time, I myself do tap into like a Fox News or go to a certain hashtag, Trump supporters, you know. In fact, just this past weekend, I was going to the spa to work, and on both sides of the intersection were these huge, like, people with these flags, like, women for Trump, you know, supporting Trump. And I was a little, like, taken aback. I was just like, it didn't make me angry, you know, because at the end of the day, these people exist. Clearly they exist. And to watch, you know, people driving around and honking their horns and supporting that, you know. Again, when I'm talking to you guys and when I am, you know, in my regular everyday experience, that's not what I'm experiencing. But that was real life, you know. And so what I'm talking about and encouraging us to do is like training that thinking muscle, you know, like training ourselves in what we react and how we react to it. Because, you know, people who aren't particularly used to it may have had a completely different reaction. You know, may have wanted to get out the car and go and confront these people or whatever. Good morning. It was very jarring to see, and I almost recorded it and put it on my social media. But for what? You know, because I get to curate, you know, how I feel. And I know there would have been a lot of people that would be triggered, you know, by seeing something like that. And we could have had a conversation about that all day long. But that ain't what my day was about to be about. Let them do what they do, you know. So I'm just saying, you know, again, to just train that thinking muscle, that free thinking muscle, that, because the more that you accept, you know, encourage yourself to think freely, and not have this machine that is constantly like kicking out thoughts for you and regurgitating what you say you think, you just create more, mental freedom for yourself. So, y'all know that I am just an advocate all the time for think for yourself, It doesn't always have to be supported, accepted by everybody else. It's jarring when your neighbor has vertical Trump America banners hanging from their roof. I bet it is, And I would imagine too, some of y'all know that I used to work in NASCAR. I worked for NASCAR and Fox Sports 1 for a long time. And I had some really interesting conversations, with people who supported Trump. Not everybody who has different opinions, doesn't have to be discussed in a negative way. I'm just, again, encouraging dialogue in general. They have the right to do so. I just keep my eyes open, as we all should. I keep my eyes open with people, that I love, people in my family. You know what I mean? Like, we as human beings, again, like, have the ability to be destructive and to be hurtful, So, that's kind of what these developers in this documentary were saying, that, again, like, we're starting to see humanity, we're starting to see ourselves and these sides of ourselves that aren't good, and it can be very destructive. So I'm going to go down a quick list of things that I just kind of came up with for us to remind ourselves of, to be encouraged about. Watch the doc. Remind yourself that it is perfectly okay to feel a spectrum of emotions. Okay, number one, anger, hurt, pain, happiness, joy, all those, as human beings, we feel a spectrum of emotions, so anytime you see something that you don't agree with, or that good morning, or that again, it's okay to feel the emotion that you feel. It's always about how you react to it. You don't have to internalize it. You can feel it, let it flow through you, and keep it moving. Just like when I saw those Trump supporters, listen to people who don't agree with you, look like you, or sound like you. That is always going to widen our perspective. It's going to widen our knowledge of things. So yeah, be willing to. I work with a team of women who don't look like me, and they are amazing. And all the time, I'm just reminded, that there are still like really, really cool white people out here. People that I enjoy, like if I was to look at my timeline a lot of the time, I wouldn't think that, like a lot of the stuff that I do see is all saying like that we're all against each other, and that's just not true in real life. I'm out here in real life experiencing it with them. So, challenge yourself to put the phone down. Audiobooks, be present with people, eat dinner. Sometimes, like, I will literally just challenge myself to sit down and eat a meal and just not have my phone. And it's actually kind of difficult, because we all get like addicted to this thing. But to just literally sit there and enjoy my food and chew it up and enjoy all the spices and how it tastes. And I know, as much as we don't want to say it that way, or feel like we need to think about it that way, like, it's rewiring my brain to be like, oh, you can do this. Like, you don't have to be addicted to this device. You're not missing anything in freaking 20, 30 minutes of chewing your freaking food up. Like, that's an act of self-care in itself. Choose original thoughts all the time. Again, be okay. That's part of why, again, I say crazy stuff half the time. Even my post yesterday about titties, like, they just titties, you know what I mean? And I had my moment to kind of be like, well, maybe I shouldn't say that or post that. They're just titties. Like, I have them. Like, all my friends have them. Not all of them, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's an original thought. and be willing to, who cares? Like, a lot of people did like it, but what if they didn't? Like, so it's all good. It's my thought. You know, like I used to say, like, just a reminder, these are my thoughts. Like, you don't have to internalize them, you don't have to agree with them, you don't have to do anything. I would encourage you to listen to black women, you know, but you don't have to agree with them, you don't have to like it. That part is on us as individuals, again, to feel the spectrum of emotions, but do what you do. Exercise and build that thinking muscle, you know, like, as much as this tool is here for our entertainment, I'm a person who, you know, is big on documentaries and reading and just being informed, you know, in general. Kind of an information junkie. So, you know, build that muscle, you know, think your thoughts, and just don't let this machine keep thinking for you and regurgitating things to you, you know. Yes, you know, you're going to get lots of advertisements. It's all about capitalism at the end of the day, which is something that we created and we all benefit from. But, you know, we have to bring our humanity to it. So, and remember that, you know, everything you like and love is not dictated by anyone's acceptance, validation, or approval of it. You know, you decide to love somebody, you just love them. You know, you decide to forgive somebody, you forgive them. You know, like, every decision you make doesn't have to be validated and supported by everyone else. If that's the reason, you know, I see so many people too just take pictures. Again, we get kind of addicted to that response that we're getting from people. Post that shit because you want to, you know, post it because you look cute, because you feel cute. Do it because you want to, and not because you need all this feedback and response. It's something that I deal with all the time. I create my products because I like to, because it's something that I feel led and enjoy doing, you know, and you know, whether I have 1 million followers is really not that important to me. It's more about the connections that I really have in real life that matter a whole lot more to me. So, again, you know, I appreciate each one of you guys that show up to the conversations and just encourage us to continue, you know, really living life and creating a beautiful lifestyle as much as we possibly can. So I'm going to share my wild thought of the day. Don't be a slave to the perception of yourself. Become the ruler of your reality, flaws and all. There's purpose in the parts of you that you don't want anyone to see. I am a walking, living, breathing testimony of that right there. So many things in my life, you know, I used to hide from or think, you know, didn't want anybody to know, didn't want anybody to feel about me, or, you know, was ashamed about whatever. But I don't think I did the Palestine tell today. I just showed you the energy clearing kit. But anyway, I've had so many people, you know, good morning. I've had so many people talk to me, again, individually. They may never say anything online, but they talk to me about, you know, like, I'm so glad you shared that. And so I do believe, regardless of any feedback that I ever get online, there's purpose in sharing these parts of my humanity that make me a human being at the end of the day. It keeps us all encouraged, and it really does build community, which is something that I am passionate about and have been really, really passionate about. So, but I do like feedback, don't get me wrong. So please, you know, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're here, you know, like it, share it. Comment on it. That's always welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, you are always welcome to join the live conversation here on Tuesday mornings. And if you don't want to talk, I'll talk. It's all good. Check out the documentary on Netflix. Again, it is called The Social Dilemma. And be informed. It's just be informed, because again, there's this machine that's thinking for us all the time, and so we really need to build these muscles to make sure that we are consistently thinking for ourselves. Yeah, and our kids are coming up in a whole different age. It watch it, and let me know what you think about it. So I hope y'all have an amazing day. I'm headed to the gym. Somebody was calling me. All right. I love y'all. Peace.